So guys, we've got BTC holding a 26K level on the weekend, sitting there nice and stable. I've got alts like Solana, Phantom, Link hitting resistance zones, possibly rejecting. We've got Rune breaking out. So I'm getting mixed signals all over the place, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on and how we're going to play this thing. So I've got two guests with us today. I've got MDX and I've got the Bombay Trillionaire. So here they are. MDX, that's an actual, that's not a studio. Let's just clear this up quickly.
No, it's the real deal, man. It's the real world. It's in Cyprus, man. Yeah, South Coast. It's really nice, sunny, like good life out here, man. How are you doing out there? Where are you?
I'm sitting in a dark studio and it's pretty cold out here. You know,
you're like the 21-year-old, you know, in their mum's basement. You love it.
I knew you were going to come with that. But yeah, it's a Sunday morning. I'm stuck here trading shit coins again. I love it. I can't stop looking at these altcoins. I've got another absolute savage here, the Bombay Trillionaire. Welcome, bro. He's too handsome to show his face. Obviously, I don't want to melt the screen. But yeah, I'm excited to hear what you've got. I know you're talking some super shit coins that are potentially going to pump as well that we're going to deal with just now. Do you want to give us a hint as to what you're looking at there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I've talked about this before. Is I always narrow down the coins that I want to buy and why I want to buy them, and then I look at levels as to where I'm going to buy them. We've already done the what part and the why part, and now we just nail down the where part.
So before you give away the secret, they are Uniswap? Are they leverage coins? What are these things? What are we looking at? Because they look like great zones to buy.
Yeah, I mean, you need Uniswap or RLB, their website. You can buy it there.
Okay, so get them ready for us just now. I'm just going to pull up my BTC chart quickly, and then I also want to show you guys MDX over here. He seems to have a crystal ball because it says, yeah, I precisely predicted this dump to 25K weeks ago. Well, you know what? I didn't. I got caught in that 27,500 level trying to fire up some longs, and I got absolutely rinsed. So tell me what you did differently. Tell me why you didn't buy this 200-week MA, the 200-day, the fib, the trend. I had an iron wall there. Nothing was getting through that, but it did. What's going on there?
So yeah, there was 3 trades I actually placed. I can show my charts if you want. I haven't even got them set up. Let me just do settings. One second. So you just go through your chart quickly. I'll get mine set up. But yeah, I'll tell you.
Look, this is BTC daily, man. That level of mine was key. That 200-day, 200 weeks. So I want to hear how you predicted this and where I went wrong, basically.
Okay, so can you see my chart? You might be able to see it.
Yes. Yeah,
okay, perfect. So I'll zoom in a little bit, get rid of all of the momentum indicators. So I came on your show a few times, I think, over the last couple of weeks, and I was saying that this zone here, these 2 yellow lines are basically a super important inflection point. So if we lose this, it's extremely likely that we're going to break trend and go straight to 25 in one candle. So when I'm saying I precisely predicted it, I was saying that there's a few longs to be made. The first time I came on your show, I said there's a long probably from the first touch of this support. And we did get a bounce off that. Obviously, it got retraced twice pretty quickly, but that was my initial thesis. I think we get one bounce, and I think it's a lower high, and then we come down towards trend, which I do think will break. It could have been maybe on the bottom side of trend another long, because you know what you want to do is you want to play the bounce trades on the way down to support, because it's logical entry, because you can have an easy stop loss, because as soon as you break trend, you're going to get a flush.
I was loving that area. Yeah, I was loving
it. Yeah. I was longing it twice. I took 2 longs. I also now have fills down at 25, because that's what I said. I said, look to buy 25K. It's pretty goddamn obvious that you're going to get an SR again. But a lot of people were saying, you know, this is to do with this Evergrande news and, you know, Tesla or whatever it is. Like, it's just not quantifiable, that kind of data. This is just all of the stop losses from everyone who's just using traditional techniques to trade, right? They're just looking at SR, they're buying support. What you're just seeing is everyone who was getting long, like us, all of those positions just got liquidated and stopped out, and that's a forced sell. So you're just looking at the books just getting filled up. There's nothing crazy about Bitcoin. Everything's changed, or the fundamentals are different, or Evergrande's now going down. Evergrande's been going down for years. It's just a story in the news. It's nothing to do with that. And if it is, it's 0.01% of extra people have started selling out. People might buy Bitcoin because of Evergrande failing. So it's just not quantifiable. But now we've got a nice opportunity here to get into some more longs. I'm already filled on 25. But you got to remember, again, like I say this on my channel the whole time, usually the positions that are the most profitable are the ones that you just get filled when you don't know. So they're just resting orders. They get filled. They go off on their own journey. Most of the time in my career, it's been those trades which make me the most money. It's not the ones I'm there perfectly at the time at 4 a.m. clicking the green button. It's the ones you just get filled on from your resting bids.
So what are you liking right now? I mean, I'm leaning towards a fake out to the downside. Yeah, I want to revisit that wick. I want to take out just under 25 again, and then give it another go up.
Yeah, I think it's I think that just happens so much in crypto. What I would say is I'll keep it simple. I am already in longs from here. You know, if we do get another wick into it, I do think it's another buy. If we get a sustained drop through it and then we see it as resistance, so say we get something like this and we see it as resistance, I think it's a continuation to 20. I actually do think ultimately we'll probably go back to trend here. This will get retested again. It will continue a lower high structure. And then I think actually we could see this. So I think this is kind of the move I'm looking for as the highest probability. Then we have to say to ourselves, are we going to continue up, which can happen, and then hold these top lines as trend and then just continue higher? Because that is obviously there's a probability that can happen. I think it's probably more likely to see another lower high.
Before this push up that you're talking about, before this move up that you're talking about, are you liking a visit to the wick first, or are you saying we might push up first before we come back to that?
Yeah, so this is the kind of area where you go, just keep it simple. Like, I don't know if it's going to test the wick or not. Nobody knows. All I can do is say that in my strategy, I'm just going to look to rebuy that region again. I'd actually probably buy it 3 times. So we come into it again, we buy it, you probably get a bounce, buy it again. And if it's 3 times to keep buying it and it starts creating something like that, you're like, there's a lack of interest here. So like, I don't really know if it will retest it again. I think it's quite if you back test a lot of information, you usually do either get a retest of the high. I think it's 70% of the time you get a retest up to 80% of the high on Bitcoin. Lower sides is actually a little bit less than that. But I think ultimately, if we do come into it again, I will look to buy it. And I do think we will get a bounce. I think it's quite unlikely we go straight to 20. It's not impossible. But again, you just do exactly the same thing we said before. You look to buy the support. Your stop losses are under here. If everyone starts doing that, look at the long to short ratio. To be honest, another easy indicator for this is that everyone in the market is long right now. Let it load. So you can see here that 71% of Binance retail traders are long. That's not a good look for Bitcoin going up because we want everyone to get it wrong on Binance. And you can see top traders there's a big divergence here. Top traders are actually only 58% long. So it's a little bit of a divergence there. I would say that's food for thought because we can still go up, when there's longs. Doesn't mean it has to go down because people can take profits. People can actually go into positions and then we can actually get that to 75%. So it's not like 70%, 71% is the top. We could go to 75% here and then we see the next leg. I am kind of leaning on this, but I would say that what you're doing is you're buying here right now. I'm already filled. And then you're selling here where we were before at around between $29,000 and $30,000. A little bit lower, actually, about 29, between 28 and 29, I think is better because that's the logical SR from before. Yeah. And I think you're a buyer here and you're a seller here. And if you get into both sides of the positions where you've got longs and you've got shorts and it goes into the middle, then you're just perfectly positioned just to cut the one which is not going to make it and then get onto your whichever way it goes. I think the dealers doesn't look good either. I just showed a chart of the CME. They're so short, the CME guys, the market makers on CME. So I think we probably don't get above the high for a while now. I've been saying this for when those CPI numbers came out. I said, look, it's quite likely we're probably going to get a retrace on this. The only reason I was saying get long was for these bounce trades. But ultimately, my thesis has been we're probably going to see some lower prices. And that's kind of what we're getting now.
I want to hear Bombay. Where are you on this? How are you trading BTC? Did you get caught in the mess?
Yeah, no, I was safely just chilling. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just got lucky. I actually posted it on our Discord. I was like, this is one of those moments where I feel the number of variables in the market is way too much for me to come up with some sort of an edge. And whenever I feel that there's no edge for me, I just prefer just chilling on the outside. And this is something that
I found these levels so juicy though. I couldn't help myself. I had to go.
Yeah.
I don't know how you sat out of it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's like when you find a good support, you want price to bounce off of it pretty soon. Like you will never want price to sort of go into consolidation in your support zone. I mean, that's never something that I actively look forward to. I also entered a long on Bitcoin at that level that you're talking about. But then the minute price starts going sideways around that level is when I'm like, maybe this is not a good level. I'll just wait for the deviation. So there's always the bounce play and the deviation play. I'm always playing for the bounce play, but if I don't get it, I'm just willing to either take a very small loss initially or even sell at break even and then wait for the deviation or just let it go.
I mean, that dump was so brutal that this
let
is
me just pull up my
this is the ByBit
Bitcoin
chart.
chart.
Yeah, look at this. I wanted to show you that ByBit bottom was 23,800. That was lower than I think Binance at 25. No, it was rough.
It's a BitMEX and ByBit had this. It just means there's a lack of liquidity in the books. That's as simple as that. The ones which didn't go down as far, like Binance, just because they've just got more liquidity in the books to soak up that sell pressure. So that's basically what that is.
Absolutely.
I started market buying down there, like panic buying. It was I'm trading in this ByBit tournament.
Yeah, it's not panic. It's not people pressing the red button. It's just literally it goes on its own journey. The order book.
I was pressing the red button. I was panic buying the green button.
Okay,
so
I'll say the majority.
I thought I'm going to get rinsed here, so I started just buying that low, and it shot me back up, and I'm back in the game.
My point is like it's not like people doing it by. Okay, you might have been, but the majority is probably just getting stopped or liquidated from a forced position. You know, not like the red button's being hit, but they're not pressing it like actually in the moment. They're just getting. It goes on a domino effect. The books get flushed. That's why Bitcoin's so volatile and it's just amazing. Actually, it's actually a beautiful thing because it's so clean. It's like the market is fasting. It's doing autophagy. You know what autophagy is? Where your body cleans itself. It has this natural process to clean the order books either side, and everybody gets wrecked basically.
Absolutely, and if when you see a structure like this, when something goes up, like what happened here, is like look at this move up. Like whenever you get something like this, where price doesn't manage to make like horizontal levels to like you always get this sort of formation where if you lose that level, wherever that price finds support, that's the shit hits the fan level. And because there's no there's no support or resistance or any kind of level to play off of, you usually see what happens is like a Bart Simpson. That's like, look at this chart here.
Yeah,
I would call it a pretty good Bart. And look, I mean, I just feel like, I don't know. I mean, I've always said I never know where price is going to go. But what I can do is based on possibilities and probabilities, you can take a bet. And based on how many variables are there, you can make sure that the bet is like sort of favored to your side. And as of now, like playing off of this support here, which is everybody has the support on their chart. I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody who just started trading yesterday knows that this is a level to keep an eye on, primarily because this was the local top as well as the bottom here. Now, I mean, playing off this level and EMA 200, I'm of the camp that I always want to have like an initial position in my long, but I always add to my position as I get confirmations. I'm not the kind of guy who goes all in on one level and then just waits. I just prefer like taking my initial positions near the bottom of the range or wherever support is. And on the reclamation of EMA 200 or reclamation of this level, I keep adding to my position. So for example, like if we do get in the next couple of days, price does find its way all the way back up to EMA 200, that gives me more confidence to start looking for more entries on H4 and H1. But if we just start like consolidating here, like below EMA 200, then any pumps into EMA 200 are the opportunities for us to look for shorts, because you don't want price to like sort of start accumulating below the trend. Whenever price goes below the trend, you want it to have like a quick reclaim. And if it does, if it can't do that, that's just a sign of price being accepted below that trend, which is not a good sign.
You got to remember as well, we haven't actually broken 25 yet. So in technical terms, we still have made a slight higher low. Obviously, the higher highs are curbing off as well. So I think it wouldn't surprise me. I know everyone's looking at 25, but there's no strategy really built around sentiment, just solely with that. It has to be a confluence factor. So I'd say it's still worth the buy if you're keeping yourself disciplined. Or you're just looking at the logical SR levels. If you just want to do that every single time and just have your edge as being that like 10-15% you get right, I think you still buy it and then you wait because it's still technically a higher low.
Absolutely. And if you're lucky, if we are super lucky, we either get like a quick flush reclaim and the deviation play, which is the best kind of like confirmation that I'm always looking for. Like if we get the deviation where price triggers a lot of stop losses that everybody has here, but then also in the following candles on the H4 managed to quickly reclaim that, something like what happened here or something like what happened here, that's what I'm looking for. Like, so bounce plays are always low probability plays for me. So my position size always reflects that. But when you get the deviation,
so basically we agree. We agree, right? We're all going to do the same thing.
We're all going to do the same thing. We're all going to get stopped out, and it's going to go to 20K.
Okay, exactly. It's maybe up, it's maybe down. Okay, guys, I want to get into this rune situation because it's actually annoying because it just doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. Okay, we had the mother of all squeezes yesterday. Yesterday, I was sitting here prepping for the show. I thought I was buying a little 15-minute breakout to make like 1% or something because like I've been trying to scalp for this competition. And this thing just ripped, absolutely ripped. And I just market sold the top and I said, thanks very much. And, you know, now here I'm sitting, I'm 23rd in our squad and I've had 2 big fish. The BTC move from 25 there on ByBit and that rune move yesterday put me back in the game, thankfully. I'm a horrible scalper. I find myself, you know, if I scalp for 4 hours, it just gets so messy. You overtrade, like it just gets terrible.
Yeah,
so, you know, I love to catch a big fish, and that rune was a lucky one for me, fortunately.
I mean, I just feel like whenever I'm scalping, I just end up giving back whatever I make. Like I find it hard to like
you completely overtrade.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we shouldn't really be trading in these conditions, right? We should be waiting.
Exactly.
Yeah, you should get a trading bot that trades your similar strategy in a scalp, and then when the trading bot goes through a period where it's trading unprofitably, you counter the bot. I've seen people make a lot of money doing that. I've done that in the past. But like you want to automate at least half of your time with trading bots on high velocity, low time trading because you just physically, mentally can't do it if you're doing it. 4 hours is way too long in one go.
Absolute torture.
You need to be drinking spirulina. You need to be on like you basically need to have like hard drugs.
You can't be married and you can't have kids and you can't have a girlfriend and you can't have dogs because you stare at your exchange the whole time. I mean,
yeah, of course. You can't, none of that. That's all that stuff's out the window. When I was scalping pretty much every day trading, it was basically I was doing like 9 hours a day. I did probably about 10 months and I traded every day for 9 hours a day. That was my biggest blast. I was about between 23, 24. It's insane.
Look, it has its moments, but you know, the best traders I know trade way less. They trade bigger size and they wait for the big fish. They wait for the big levels.
Yeah. And also, as you get older, you got to go higher time frames as you get older. It's for the young kids, bro. Let them fight each other in the trenches. But the old men don't fight in the trenches, brother. We move the pawns around from the higher level. They can fight in the fucking trenches. See you later.
No, 100%. So, you know, those that know me and those that follow the Discord charts, they know I love the 4 hours. I love the daily. I like to just wait for these zones. So I'm really out of my comfort zone when it comes to scalping, but trying to make the most of it. So just to finish on rune, you know, we were saying this resistance was 1.7. It looks like we're getting support here on the daily, which is interesting. I was watching this zone over here, so I just want to see this hold. I don't know if this rune trade's over. Is there still a bit of vibe left in rune, or is it actually working? I don't even know the fundamental story. Bombay might have some fundamentals on it. I know he knows his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, once I miss out, once I miss out on the initial gain, and I'm like, I sort of distance myself from that coin. I found that to be the most healthy thing I can do instead of sitting on my chair and waiting for a re-entry. And rune was one of those that actually caught me off guard. I missed the initial pump, and there was this actual level at 1.43, which I had an alert on. But you know how you set up your alerts like 1 month into the future, and then when that date goes by, your alert expires. And my alert expired. I didn't even know about it. And then I was like, wait, what the fuck? I mean, rune's like 1.7. And then I totally messed up that trade. So I'm totally out of it. I have zero clue as to what will happen. I try to distance myself from these trades so as to not, disappoint myself.
I'd given up on rune. I'd pretty much deleted it from my watch list. I was like 5 days away from literally fucking dumping this thing. And
I think there's something there, man. Like, I think there's something there. I think a lot of the time, like with altcoins, especially for me in trading, the first pump, I kind of always move. I always miss the first pump because I don't see. It's the second pump I get in on because I always wait for that retest or that higher low. So I think you're doing yourself a disjustice. I think, guys, like missing the first pump is kind of standard for me because I don't. Otherwise, you're just gambling. Because like, when do you know? It's not. It came out of nowhere. Like, how would you ever know that it's just suddenly going to pop out of nowhere? You've got to scale in and go underwater if you're trying to do that trade. It's just basically investing. So I think the first pump you always miss. Wait for the retest, wait for the high low, and then catch that next wave if you're a wave guy as well. That first wave, second down, and then the third one is when it really can get aggressive.
Yeah, but it's been up only like for what 14 days straight. I mean, this daily chart is like it's up only on what, 14 green candles or 15 green candles on the daily.
The amount of times I've made that mistake and not jumped into something that was hot after 10 days or 2 weeks. I mean, and it just doubles. It just
Are you looking at the
carries
same
on,
chart as me? You're looking at FTM. I'm looking at Rune
this
right
is,
now.
This is, yes. So we moved on from Rune. We're done with that.
Oh man, you guys are quick. You're literally dropping them like they're freaking hot, bro.
I want to get to these shit coins quickly. So Phantom, I mean, Phantom, there's been so much bearish stuff about Phantom. I don't even know if it's still a project anymore, but somebody decided to pump it up after that dump. And it's straight into resistance. So, you know, those of you that want to be long Phantom, probably not a great idea here. We're in quite a big resistance zone. So I'm looking for a
pullback. Low,
maybe. Here's a little channel that's going up, and you guys know what often happens with these channels. They end up in hell at some point. So, you know, keep your eyes on that. Look at these levels up here. So, you know, 21, 22 is probably your limit. If you get some random pump, let's say BTC just blows in the next, 24 hours, just look for that rejection on Phantom. I don't think it's sustainable. I think it's got to come back down. Then I got another old favorite, another Dino coin. So we were saying on Discord, this was looking quite bearish the other day, and something is so funny here, Bombay. Whenever you get that golden cross, the 50-day going over the 200, all these coins actually dump.
Yeah,
I mean, look at Uni over here, straight to hell. And now I'm looking at this region as a support zone, but I can't be long here because I'm concerned about this wick. So, anyone who wants to be long on this type of support, you need to understand that we could come back down to visit this wick, and that's an 8% move.
Just
so
nibble it.
I'm not touching.
You're scared about wicks, nibble.
Yeah.
Tell your community to nibble. Just start with 1%, 2%, 3%. Just incrementally go in. Don't just put 100%.
And it's a different game. If you're trading spot, that's a totally different ball game. That's quite relaxing actually. The leverage traders out there, just be careful. Let it pull back. Let it get a deep pullback into these areas.
Yeah, of course.
Look at Solana, golden cross. Good night. Stent to hell. Actually, not so bad. It's holding this 200-day, but again, rejecting at this zone. This is the daily chart. Rejecting at this resistance of 22.5, holding the 200-day, but I'm concerned about this wick here at the 618. Is this a buy or a sell, Max?
Let me zoom in on that. Do you want to zoom in a little bit? So resistance, I think it's probably going to come up a little bit from here and then act as resistance again on that trend line at the top. You can see, I'd say I wouldn't really be looking right now for it. It's either you buy below the wick or you're looking to sell the trend line. But there's a lot of no man's land. That's the problem with a lot of traders. It's like you can say all these types of entries and exits, but a lot of people just get in that middle zone. But I would say this is probably not. It's obviously nobody knows, but I'd say that you're either selling trend because that's logical, or you wait for it to break it, stop you out, and then retest it and then buy, or you wait for this to come a little bit lower, then look to buy as the support on the next level down. Probably beneath the wick.
There's no trade here. Right now. You're short from higher up and you long from lower down.
So both of you are like bearish in Solana. So look, sorry to do this, but I think Solana's like look, whenever the market's like at any stage of the market, something that I always do is I always ask myself, what are the strong coins and what are the weak coins, so that you like long strength and you short weakness, right? And coins that have like a supportive narrative with it are always coins that I want to long in an opportunity where Bitcoin is at the bottom of the channel, at support, whatever you want to call it. I personally believe, and again, this is just my opinion, of course, I mean, you're hearing a random guy talking on the internet about internet magic money, whatever. Solana, in my opinion, is one of those coins which has seen has gone through the absolute worst of times. I'm pretty sure out of all the major caps that we've had, except for Luna, which pretty much went to zero. I think Solana is the one which has been hit the absolute worst.
That's a fair comment. That's actually a fair comment. This FTX thing really just destroyed Solana.
Yes. And whenever I'm looking for opportunities on Solana, I did like a very long post labeling saying that, look, I'm going to buy Solana because I feel a lot of people are fading it. And the three levels I'm going to look at are the $3, the $11, and the $19. And those are like super higher time frame supports that you can check those supports on weekly time frames going back to the start of the previous cycle, and you'll see like there's a lot of confluence of previous price action with current price action. And ever since we broke past $18, my thesis has remained the same, that I'm just going to look for opportunities to long Solana. And whenever this is the beauty of pair trading. Like if like for example the chart that you showed me of Phantom, you would be sort of hesitant in taking a short on that chart. But if you also have like a pair trading mentality where you're looking to long strength and short weakness, that's where this thing comes into play, where you can short Phantom and long something like Injective or Solana for that matter. I mean, Solana is not as strong as Injective based on the chart, but I still feel like I'm buying spot Solana here from $21 to about $19. And
that's what I wanted to get out of you. That's what I wanted to hear. So you spot buying, you're not leveraging this shit. You spot buying. Okay.
Yeah, so this is how I like to start these trades. Like whenever I'm looking for a big trade, like for example, what I'm doing with Injective is I always want to get my higher risk entries on spot so that it allows me to stay in the trade. And then I set up conditions where I'm like, okay, if we reclaim EMA 200 on the daily on Solana, that's when I'm looking for my leverage trade. So that way it actually allows me to sort of build a position with a bigger position size and keep laddering in with individual invalidations so that I can, I can keep adding to my position. And Solana and Injective are two of those coins for me that
we're gonna get to Injective. Let's do Injective now quickly. Okay, so yesterday we were looking for, if we wanted this to continue, we were looking for a move a little bit lower down to this 382. We didn't get it. We were looking, for something like that. This is a resistance zone I'm watching now on Injective. Big area for me. The way Injective held during that dump, I was very surprised. I was in an Injective long because I really liked this area and I got stopped out. And when I look back 12 hours later, I was very upset. It just feels like I should have just hung on to that one. But obviously we never know. We don't know how deep these things are going to go. So where are you on Injective now? What is your plan for Injective here? This is the 8 hour.
Yeah, the Injective, like if you notice if you compare the Injective dump with the Bitcoin dump, that's when you get some sort of alpha, in my opinion, is where you see that Injective was going down beforehand. I did a full stream on the higher time frame setup on Injective yesterday. And if you notice how Injective was holding up, there's two kinds of holding up. One, price is dumping down, your coin is holding. And after that, once price is done, the retracement, how fast is it? I mean, if you see that wick on Injective, it pretty much went close to that $5.8 level, which if you zoom out, that's the range. Like that 5.8, if you super zoom out, you'll notice that 5.8 and the all-time high that we've had is this big range that we've been in. And this is just a theory that I have. I keep saying this again and again. The strongest of coins will never give you retests. If you're lucky, you'll get retracements. And you will never get perfect retest to that exact level where you wanted to give that retest to you. And that $5.8 level, I feel, is everybody was waiting for. Price wick down, got front run, and look at that wick. Look at that big wick on Injective. That the price just It was.
I was loving this zone just down near the 6.3 area at the 200 day. I was loving it lower down, but for me, because I was in a leverage position, it was just too far down. I had to get stopped up, and then I had to wait and see what the story was. Okay, so Bombay, are you long Injective now? Are you in this?
Yeah. So I'm in this trade from the EMA 200 on H4 value, which is 7.83, and as long as we stay above 7.76, I have a tight invalidation for this one. I'm happy to keep my position open, and as we break past this 8.26 or 8.3, whatever this level is, then I start looking to sort of compound to my on my entry.
Now the people that are watching that might not be in Injective, they need an entry. So is the entry on the 382? This region down here? Where do these guys enter? Max, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. The screen's just gone. Okay, I'm on this chart now. Yeah, it's a good to see that wick down and then that pump up. Yeah, I can get. I'll just look at your chart, mate. It's fine.
Sure.
That's all good. So on this time frame, that wick is a good sign. I'd probably try and look for some sort of high low on this. It is actually looking at some resistance. Do you want to zoom out onto a daily as well, just to look at a daily chart? Have a look at the overall move of this, because you've got to have a little bit of context. It wicked to the 200-day moving average, it looks like. Just on a completely naked chart on my mind, I think it's you know, I think it's like a little bit higher on this, then makes a lower high, and then probably comes back down towards that 200-day moving average again at some point. It looks like it's slugging up, like in some sort of ascending formation, higher lows coming up into it. I think that probably continues, and if you break down the 200-day, it's probably going to then do a different swing. You know, we're going to change into a different market dynamic, go lower. But yeah, not sure. You know, these, you know, all these altcoins as well. You got to remember they're so low liquidity that they're kind of all over the place. You just got to get in and out on the logical levels, and it looks to me like probably pushes a little bit higher here, actually.
I mean, look at that. Just look at this bounce from the EMA 200 on the daily. And yeah, I just feel like everybody here was waiting for Injective. It was one of the strongest performers throughout.
If you invert the chart, you'll get a good context as well. So if you just invert the chart, you'll probably see, you know, this can help people's bias, and that wick will look like a top, basically, if you just
100%. I just feel like this is the phase of the move where like we sort of like fuck around and find out during the the mid of the range, and this was the bottom, we're at the top, and now this is decision making time. And if I was a betting man, which I mean every trader is, I feel if Bitcoin doesn't go lower, Injective makes its way all the way to these highs here. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
I want to move on. I want to move on to Link, and another one that dumped after this golden cross. Sitting in a very interesting area for me. You know, under normal conditions, I might want to be long in a situation like this. I just like this area, the 618, whatever. I'm just still a little bit suspicious about the Bitcoin situation. If BTC comes back to visit that wick, I don't think Link's going to come all the way down to the 786 though. So I think we're going to get some kind of dip down. But I really am liking this area. Sunday night, or I think Sunday or Monday morning, 3 a.m., the Chinese central bank might be announcing a rate situation there that might stimulate things. And do you guys think this is going to have an effect on the market? I mean,
no idea.
Is it too small to you? No idea. I'm just wondering, in the middle of the night, Sunday,
no one knows.
They come with that announcement. So
I was going to say,
so it's an interesting one. I don't want to be long or short here. Yeah, I feel like we're going to get some kind of volatility here and maybe just shake us out a little bit. But the way I'm looking at this Link situation, it looks all right here. Eh?
Yeah, it looks like longs. Like I would say also, when you trade alts, you always got to be looking at Bitcoin, like you just said. So if Bitcoin does sneeze, this is going to have an effect on alts. It's like the micro cap alts, the really small ones that don't get affected when Bitcoin moves. I've got some altcoins that I'm just sitting on like investments, and they've basically been moving higher whilst Bitcoin's been going down. So they're a good hedge. But I think with this, I think you're right. 618, 786. I actually love the 786 retracement on alts. That's one of my favorite retracement levels because it's so deep, and it usually happens on alts because they're so volatile and low liquidity. So I'd say that wick into the 786 is definitely exhausted. Probably sellers for the prolonged, another couple of weeks. Like that's just taken out everybody basically, even almost to the very lows of that move. So I think Link's pretty good. And I like the way you talk about these golden crosses because actually, the fastest upside move ever in Bitcoin's history at the smallest amount of time was the 200-day, 50-day moving average golden cross. Sorry, it was a death cross actually in 2019, and Bitcoin then pumped in 2 days 40%, and everyone was blaming it as the China pump. And it was like, legend, it's not to do with fucking China. It's just
the guys remember this. This is key information, okay?
Yeah.
Golden cross. When you get the golden cross, it's over. That's the top.
It's over, man.
Okay?
It's a good long-term indication, especially for on higher time frames, but it's very unlikely you're going to get the golden cross and it goes up, or a death cross and it goes down. With death crosses, it goes up because the market gets over-exacerbated in the books. It's already priced in. It's beautiful.
So save that in your diary, okay? The next time you get golden crosses on these altcoins, don't get too excited. Maybe you get 1 or 2% upside, but they come for you, and they come for you more often than not.
Yeah, the devil is in the detail, and like if you really look into these crosses from back testing, you can see that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It sounds good, but they're coming after you, and they're going to wreck you first. And then it's usually a good swing or medium-term trend or long-term indicator. But fuck the short-term, bro.
Okay, Matic, is this now an official shitcoin? I've heard so much bad stuff about it. It's been so sad over the last couple of weeks, couple of months. They've just been selling it. Some big traders out there are shorting this thing. They hate it. They literally want it to go to zero. Sitting at resistance now, 786. It's a big area for me. What are you seeing here?
Well, I'll just go first. So I think it's I actually bought, because ADA's a very similar chart to Matic. And I'll tell you, I actually looked at my P&L curve on altcoins, and I really don't actually look at trading them that much with leverage anymore. The biggest wins I've had is just buying them when they're significantly off their all-time high, and that's kind of what I just generally look at. But you know, it really does come down to investments for me for altcoins. Like there are a few I trade, but that's going to be the higher cap coins like the Ethereums and the Links, etc. But when I look at stuff like ADA, I've never been an ADA guy. I went and looked at the chart and I bought shitloads on that big dump it had. I think ADA might have bottomed. And I think that Matic's in the same kind of boat as ADA, same similar chart. We're coming back down to those real, when we had that big SEC announcement where everyone just sold for a fucking dear life. And I think overall, if you go and look at daily chart and ADA, you know, they're all retesting those lows of that wick. And I quite like the look of that in terms of buying that for long-term holds. In terms of trades, you know, ADA for me is likely going to probably come up to that trend and then come back down for a higher low. And if we get that higher low, and we don't break the wick, I think it's actually going to be pretty nice for ADA to see some upside.
So
just get above trend and get above that wick.
It responded really well on that 786. Hey, how cool was that? Look at Matic. Matic lost it. It's done. I mean, it just feels so done. And then ADA, I agree, or not my favorite token. Maybe a push to the 618 and trend for a short opportunity.
Mate, fundamentals, I hate the ADA crew. It's just unbelievably just shitcoin vibes and scammy as fuck. Like, even the Charles Hopkinson stuff is just like, he looks about 48 years old and he's like 20 or something. It's just it's a weird community. But like, I have to just look at charts strictly, you know. Fundamentals go out the window. So I
would love to send 88 to 0, honestly. Like,
yeah, so in terms of just like meme ability, I'd fucking love that shit. But
yes,
it's I still think it's a good buy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at the Matic chart, by the way, on the higher time frame, like on the daily, it's a no-brainer buy. I mean, I don't know what. Just look at this chart here. I mean, can I bring up my chart here for a second?
Yeah.
One sec. Just look at this chart. I mean, I always prefer trading coins that have a narrative with leverage. If either the BTC pair needs to be sort of trending upwards or downwards, or there has to be some sort of a narrative for the coin. Otherwise, I feel like buying spot and holding at the bottom of higher time frame support is the easiest way to make money in crypto. Just look at higher time frames, mark out your levels, chalk out coins that are actually good, buy them, and only trade coins which actually have a narrative or some sort of volatility associated with it, which separates it from the market for those leverage trades. Otherwise, in my opinion, it's just I mean, this is much more easier for retail, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like investing with an entry. You're kind of talking about. I try to keep it strict charts.
But... Yeah, look at this level here. I mean, this was the initial first March top here as well. Then we had a deviation around it. We've bounced off of it before, and now we're floating with that line again. It's so much more easier for me to just buy spot here. And if we start consolidating below support, that's my signal to get out. And I see no reason why I should trade this with leverage. I mean, unless the EIP 4844 thing comes up, and which is good for L2s.
Bombay, maybe because we're in the ByBit World Series of trading.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
we might have to trade something with leverage.
Yeah, but then again, like, why Matic? Like, look at this Matic. Okay, look at this. This is the Matic BTC chart. Okay, this is just look at the market structure of the Matic BTC chart here. And then look at something like, I don't know, Injective, and very clearly you'll see that the market loves one more than the other. And this is the BTC pair, so we're removing all of the like whatever happened with Bitcoin, the whole market dump and all that. So if you're looking for leverage trades, even on ByBit or BitGet, like for example, whatever exchange you're trading, it's always in my opinion, better to find coins which have either a narrative or some like funding rate goes crazy, or at the end of the day, you need volatility, because just going on long on these coins, in my opinion, is just the EV isn't good enough, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay, we got about 10 minutes left, and I just want to cover a few more of these altcoins, and then I want to hear about your absolute degen calls here. So I just want to go back and cover this ADA situation. So just to recap, if we're looking for shorter time frame trades here on ADA, we push up into resistance 618 and trend. We're looking for potential shorts. Okay, that's the bear zone, right? Bull zone, we're looking for a pullback to the 786. Okay, if we hit that 786 and that trend line and we break up, you want to just relax, let it pull back. Let's see if we get support, and then you can send it up to this next level here at 30 cents. Okay, so first move into the 618, then we can look for shorts. We break up, we pull back, then we can look for longs again. Okay, Matic we've covered. There's no trade yet for me on Matic unless we push up. I'd like another maybe short opportunity there.
Yeah, it's a no man's land at the moment. Yeah, it's probably a buy. I'd say if I had to put a gun to bed and said buy or sell, I'd buy. But
you buy Matic?
Yeah, if you forced me to make the trade, I wouldn't make a trade. But if you forced me to, like a lot of people in my community are always like, "But what if I put a gun to head MDX?" I'm like, "Okay, fucking here we go." Okay. But you know, people love to be in and out, don't they, on their ByBit trades on stuff like that. So
okay, optimism. Yesterday, we were looking for a push up. We hit this little resistance zone here, this 1.5. Nice little rejection, which means we now have a trend and we can start working. You know, we've got something to work with here. We've got some tools. Okay, so pullback areas I like. Optimism. Potentially here. We can see how we react over here. You can see why I like
shallow pullback would be good. It'd be more bullish if you get a shallow pullback on that and then break trend.
We probably have a fib here that ties in as well. I mean, look at that. Okay, there's absolute science here at play. Okay, so we get a pullback onto the 382. We got horizontal support. Maybe we get a sneaky little entry. Then let's see what happens here at trend. If we get this break up, we'll probably reject here, come back, and then we can send it up again. So keep your eyes on that one. I like a 1.4 pullback for optimism. It will give you a nice tight stop. You can use that 382 as a guide. AVAX. Still no man's land for me. Also, just been absolutely abused, this thing. It just feels like the end's never coming. I mean, this was a massive level for me. We played this bounce so many times, ran out of steam, got an absolute dump, barely held the 786, tested the wick. I mean, is there more pain here? Is this still a project?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know because I've stopped giving a fuck about AVAX anymore.
That's why you should just stick strictly to the charts, like, because all the fundamentals just gets you mixed signals. Like they're all shit coins if they're going down, they're all good if they're going up. But ultimately, it's just people and projects, and like the price does the price. Even if the project gets better, the price will still do what it wants.
Exactly. Again, bringing back to my original point is like just look for coins which have some sort of a narrative associated with it. I think this is something that retail struggles with. They're still stuck with the Cardano and the AVAX and the Matic from last cycle. While in this year we've had the AI runs.
I'm in it for the tech. I'm really in it for the tech.
Hey, the price will create the narrative. Fuck the narratives. Just the price will create the narrative. If it's going up, everyone will think of something to get behind. You know, they're like, oh yeah, now it's an AI coin. We changed the name. It's like, yeah,
it's just such good utility, guys. I can see it getting used everywhere. Okay, so Theta, and like such an incredible bounce, guys. If you were on the Banter Discord, I put these levels in Monday to Friday. I reload these charts. I update them every day. If this dump was happening and you had the Banter Discord in front of you, you would have seen these Theta levels. Okay, if you caught that dump, it was absolute perfection, wasn't it? I mean, look at the size of this move here. We had a 20% bounce in a couple of hours.
Yeah, this is perfect trading right there. This is good stuff. So like that lower wick level, because you could have laddered in on every level as well. Yeah. And sometimes what I do is like incrementally get a little bit higher in the position size as it goes down, because you know it's going to get weaker. So this is like my bread and butter. I love trades where they're bouncing off lows like that. So that's good.
Yeah, and we're playing big time frames here. This is daily stuff, you know. But sometimes you wait ages for this to happen. But when you get it, guys, for those of you, Bombay, I think, do you do charts on Discord as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so guys, Banter Discord, we do the sniper setups. I'm doing 20 to 30 charts every single day. The levels are there. Use them on your own charts. Copy what you're doing. You know, fade these ideas if you even want to. You know, I just put in big areas of interest. I call them reaction zones. Okay, I can't guarantee you how big the bounce is going to be, but fuck me, most of the time I can tell you, you're going to get a reaction there. Okay, so and sometimes that's all you need as a trader. Sometimes you're going to get a 2 or 3% bounce. On days like this, you get a 20% bounce on theta. So I'm doing all this work for you guys every day. I'm putting it in. Practice with your stuff. Use it as some of your tools. You know, take bits and pieces from all these traders that you see, put it all together and see if it works for you. Okay, but the stuff's there. Okay, last one from me is BNB. There were all these stories, guys. We're holding 220. They're defending 220, and now it's under 220, and it's not going.
Sounds like FTX, mate. They're defending the freaking lows on that.
Someone help me.
It sounds like an FTX thing. I actually don't like the BNB chart. I think it's got a lot of price action to fill in, and I do think there is a higher chance on BNB of that massive move we had on BNB at the very beginning, where it went flat up. You know, all it's going to take is the price action to go below this level you've got on your chart, this green box, which I can't see your price action is about 225 or something. Yeah. I've got a lot of BNB in my portfolio. I'm not looking to trade it, but if we do lose below that green box, if you look prior, there's no support until literally back to like $80 or lower. So I don't really like this chart. I think this is a precarious, I call them like, you know, precarious charts, or like they kind of look like they're not built on good foundations. So if we do lose that green box, yeah, honestly, that's kind of what you're looking at. And I would say it will be probably a cascade down, especially with all this shit going on. Like there's just so much like attacking of Binance right now. I don't look at the news, but it can create a spark. And if we do lose that green box, I just don't see much hope for BNB. It will definitely get some sort of exacerbated wick down there.
Will we be in it for the tech down there?
This is one of those moments I wish I was doxed and I had the camera on so that I could have the 4 number right in front of me. Dylan, could you do the 4 for me, please? Could you just say 4? I mean, that's all I said. Yeah, that's it. Dylan, could you do it for me, please? Just 4. That's it. That's
so are we in it for the tech at 40? Are we long BNB at 40?
We're long BNB at 40, 100%. If we get 40, I'll fucking mortgage the house on it. But like, I'd say you buy support until it breaks, and then it could get really dicey though. If Bitcoin wants to push a bit further and really push the buttons in BNB, then you see a fucking run on the books, and then everyone's like, "Oh yeah, BNB's the next FTX." Oh, it could be actually hilarious. This whole thing. This could be
it smells like the BNB short is the most crowded trade in crypto right now. So
yeah, we'll see the sentiment side, but I'd say, look, I'm just looking at the chart, and if you lose that fucking green box, like there's nothing there. Like that's what I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that I don't like the chart because it's precarious. I would say that you buy support until you break trend, and it, you know, ultimately it might be okay because it's a great company, etc. And all those fundamental things might come into play. But if you look at strictly charts, I'm just saying to you, legends, there's not much fucking foundations right now. Like that's a long way down, and like
it's over down.
This can happen.
Okay. I mean, do you expect Binance to just launch a launch pool, launchpad again? And that's what we've been doing for the last, I don't know, 3 months, right? Whenever the price goes down to that level, we get a launch pool, or you know, last time it was Say, another one before that it was, I think it was, I'm forgetting what it was. And yeah, that's the strategy for now, right? So I would fully expect if we like start floating with this level more, fully expect to get another launch pool token.
Okay, guys, before we wrap up,
can I show you a quick rune chart? I did chart a rune chart.
Yeah. I hate scalping, but
I'll show you
I seem to be good at it on rune for the moment. I'm adding
I got a quick rune chart to quickly show you.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, real simple. I just want to show you this. So I charted it quickly. This is literally just the most standard traditional techniques. You know, rune, this level here, is just significantly being found. It's the most significant level in this whole chart is this level along here. It's come straight. This is where it's likely going to go, Rune, I think, around here. You can see you're seeing resistance here. This is what I'm talking about. Like this move, don't be worried about missing this move, because no one was pissed off about missing this move. No one was pissed off about this move. And we haven't really even broken it yet. So, you know, if Rune, like I'm looking at this, if it comes down here and we get a 618 or a 786, I think it's going to go probably up to around $2. So that's 320. And I think that's the macro resistance. I think this is the 1, 2, 3, and then a 4 and a 5, and then you wick into it. And this could be pretty juicy for Rune, actually. I quite like this chart. It just needs to get above these levels. I don't think it does it now. I think this wick is telling the story. I think it's likely to come lower. So to sell around here. And then you have your stop loss above here. If you want to lose 1% on that trade, you just if you short around here, you just have a 1% stop. And if you do get broken through, you lose 1% and flip, and then you look at shorts up here. And if you do get the retracement, it'll probably be something like this, and then you're actually going to get a move higher. But I think it could be good.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'll be
ruin.
back like 1 minute. Somebody at the door. Dylan, I'll just be back in like 30 seconds.
Okay.
And also look at Bitcoin
Okay,
dominance, where we topped out on
Yeah,
Bitcoin
let's take a
dominance.
look,
So
yeah.
this could be good for altcoins, you know, because that Bitcoin dominance is looking like it could break this trend now and come down a little bit lower over the next, you know, the interim.
Was that a gap? Was that a gap in the dominance chart? Did it actually gap down like that?
Let's have a look. Well, I think you're looking at, yeah, there is a small gap here.
Right,
Yeah, there is a small one. Yeah, the gaps on BTC dominance are just because obviously like the records aren't open. Like it's not really, you know, there's not many places you can really trade this. It would be quite interesting to get, you know, some sort of product on this, but it's just generally a denominator of where the Bitcoin dominance is in relation to alts. It's just a fast move, but it is breaking, you know, it could break trend, and I think this could be an environment for altcoins. I don't think Bitcoin breaks its high at 31K for a while. I also don't think it breaks 15K. So I think it's just going to be wishy-washy sideways for a long time. That kind of is the cesspit for the shit coins to smell and get all their fucking really, you know, it's like compost. You know, you're putting like the shit on the field to give them the minerals to pop everywhere, all the plants and thistles.
I love that.
But yeah, like I
want
think
to show you guys the. So I mean, let's not get too excited here. You know, yesterday we were sitting with Sam Price yesterday, and he was loving BTC if it could break up and hold 26. He was like, I'm bullish if it holds 26. So here it is holding 26. Watch this trend. Don't get too excited. Maybe buy the pullbacks onto support if you want to scalp a little bit. Watch that trend. Okay, Bombay, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Tell me about these coins that are on good areas. Tell us.
Yeah, look, first up, full disclosure, I've talked about these coins way before, and like I said, I always decide what to buy first, and that's based on a number of things like fundamentals, narratives, speculation, what I believe could be a next big narrative, and I decide the what, and then the time comes where, and then I go on higher time frame supports. I buy spot initially, and then on the lower time frames, we wait for some sort of a momentum to come in for us to go to leverage. That's usually how my trades go. And like, look, Rollbit, everybody knows about this token. I mean, I'm pretty sure anybody who's in crypto knows what Rollbit is, what they're trying to do. I'm always bullish on human greed. I'm always long human greed. And whenever somebody comes in the chat and they tell me that, you know, like, oh, we'll never get another alt season again, I just said, look, the human greed will never end. I mean, right now, there were people who were bidding $1 million on pictures of apes, you know. So you can't tell me that's not going to come back. I mean, even right now, I don't know if you guys have heard the whole Friend Tech app or protocol. That's where you can basically bet on CT personalities, and everybody has shares, and people are buying their shares and selling their shares, and that's the kind of you know, like moronic sort of environment we're in and we're used to. So like, I'm always bullish on human greed, and I think the whole 𝗕𝗵𝗆 or whatever you want to call it, the gambling scene in crypto is something that I feel is only a very, very small fraction of what it's going to be. I don't know if Rollbit will still be the #1 gambling platform, but as of now, I think
that's going to be ByBit, mate. ByBit will stay #1.
I mean, if you think about it, then Binance will be #1. I mean, they'll always.
At the end of the day, it's just perpetuals. Rollbit's just perpetuals. It's all gambling if you don't know what you're doing. Anything's a gamble if you don't know what you're doing. Even just like walking down the road is a gamble if you don't know how to walk down the road. Like anything can be a gamble.
Absolutely, but then would you also consider buying spot and 1000x leverage the same amount of gambling? No, right? I mean, it's the only place that's giving you 1000x gambling. Yeah, it's extremely gambling, brother. And coming back, and coming back to what you said, I mean, everybody who's coming in crypto, why they're coming here is because they believe they will become overnight millionaires. That's the illusion that crypto gives to the outside world, right? And this whole 1000x narrative, in my opinion, is going to get adopted by a lot more of these gambling platforms or exchanges, whichever word you prefer. And
you got a better chance of becoming an overnight millionaire in crypto than any other market, though. So that's kind of, it's not going to happen most of the time, but it can happen. I have seen it happen, but yeah, I know.
True. And which is why I've been waiting for some sort of a pullback on Rollbit. I mean, it was absolutely tearing up, and I was like, I'll mark out my levels, and I will buy it on spot initially. And by the way, this is not available on leverage trading, in my opinion. The only place you can leverage trade.
Mate? What's the ticker on it? Rollbit?
RLB.
Or OB?
RLB.
RLB.
Nice. Okay, I'll look at that.
And Yeah, I mean, you can only buy them on spot apart from that exchange, the 𝗏𝗏 exchange. I think that's the only place you can leverage trade this one. But then again, I just don't feel the need to leverage trade it, primarily because the risk factor is super high. The volatility is there anyway. So
okay, so Bombay, before we move on to the next one, just are we buying it here?
Yeah, I'm buying. Yeah, I'm buying it here. So what I usually like to do is I buy 30% first, and then I wait for some sort of a confluence with some trend or something, and I'm looking for this EMA 200 here. Now, if we start bouncing off of this one and we get the deviation, that's my add to position, where I add more to my position with my stop loss wherever this wick is, and then as we keep moving up, we keep adding to our position with individual invalidations for the newer trades.
What if other than Rollbit, what are the other tokens out there that are similar narrative?
The
ECB, Winner. What are the other ones?
DMT. I mean, there's a lot, but I always feel that when you're trying to go for these niche sort of narratives which haven't like fleshed out, so the easiest thing to do is to long the first mover or the biggest market cap coin in there. And then you just spread your bids. Like you can, depending on your risk profile, you can do 80-20, where you put 80% in the big mover, and then 20% you spread out on random hit and trial methods on these, 1 million, 5 million market cap projects.
Next is Telegram bots.
Yeah. Telegram bots was, I've talked about this before. I've always wanted to buy this. There was a friend who actually told me to buy this at $30. I faded him. I actually forgot about it, just like most things. And ever since I've been waiting to buy some Unibot. And look, I do all of this with these type of coins are less than 10% of my overall portfolio. So I'm allowed to go absolutely crazy mad degen on them. And I prefer building these positions over some time. And I've always marked out these levels. And this is where I've actually bought my first Unibot here. And then I'm going to buy another bag of spot here. And that would be like 60% of my position.
This is a good spot zone.
So 100%. And then you wait for the turn.
Spot areas. Okay. Cool.
And by the way, you will never know, like, the perfect buys only exist in hindsight. I mean, a lot of people think that they look at a chart and they're like, oh, this is where I would have bought. Okay, this is where I would have bought. This is where I would have sold. But sadly, it doesn't work like that. So just mark out your levels, have a plan, and at the end of the day, stick to it. Like similar to how people were like, they were willing to sell their kidneys to buy a Bitcoin at 25K when we were at 30K. And then we went to 25K, and you see the same people saying, oh, we're going to 20K now. And the same thing's going to happen. We're going to go if we do go to 20K, they'll be waiting for 15K. So it's like, it's just the way the market is. Just have a plan and stick to it, and have proper risk management. And your primary aim in crypto is to survive. If you survive till the bull run, you will make money. I know. Like this is something that I should not say, like, because it's like, oh, you're telling people why to not trade. But I feel like just survive, man. I mean, that's all you need to do is survive till the bull run, survive till the conditions get easier.
Survive the bear market, guys, and just
keep some ammo.
Okay, so guys, we're running out of time here. Again, thank you, both of you. Bombay, next time, maybe we want to see your face. I hear rumors that you're very good looking, so you must share it with the world.
I'm most definitely not, but yeah.
But guys, thank you. This has been great. Hopefully there's been some good info for those watching. Any last comments here before we jump to Monday? Any last comments on the plan for the rest of the weekend?
I mean, just all out. Yeah, just wait for Monday range to form. Wait for the Monday range to give you some sort of indication as to what the high and the lows are for the week ahead. And yeah, just survive. Survive till the easy mode kicks in.
Number one rule in trading is not to make money, but to preserve your money. That's the number 100%. One rule. Like, hold your money. You got ammo. You can't win a war without ammunition. You got to keep the ammo in the back. Got to have a reserve.
Well, I love that point, because when I'm looking at a trade, I never look at how much money I'm going to make. I look at how much money I'm going to lose when I'm wrong.
As soon as you look at how much you're going to make, you'll lose a trade. There's never been a trade where I've calculated my win and been like, yes, I'm going to win this now. Whenever you fucking look at what you're going to make, you never make it. It's against the rules of trading. Just never look.
I by default assume I'm wrong. And I figure out how much that's going to cost me.
Exactly, yeah. Default assume you've lost the money and you're wrong. You've lost the money and you're wrong, and then you will win. It's actually really, there's a lot of truth to it.
Yeah. Okay, boys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I really appreciate that you joined me. Hopefully we do it again. We do it again soon, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, legend, man. Cheers,
really
man.
Appreciate it.
We're out of here. Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah.